Another one. Another Simple Favor takes place 5 years after the events of the first film. Stephanie Smothers has become a true crime vlogger and has written a book about her friendship with Emily Nelson and her subsequent imprisonment. At a signing event, she is confronted by Emily, who arrives in some of the strangest Tetsu no Mura drip I've ever seen and reveals she has been released on appeal. She is marrying her old friend Dante Versano, a wealthy Italian man from her family with connections to the mafia.
Forget about it. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
She invites Stephanie to be her maid of honor. After taking a private plane in another memorable Blake Lively outfit, they arrive in Capri along with Dante and Stephanie's agent Vicky. The two reunite with Emily's ex-husband Sean and son Nicky. Also at the wedding are Emily's mother Margaret and her aunt Linda, as well as Dante's mother Portia, who has a tense relationship with Emily, accusing her of marrying into the family for that cash money, baby. At a lunch before the wedding, a bitter and intoxicated Sean, aka my favorite new version of Henry Golding.
Anywho's, if we're not gonna be then I am off to cement my reputation as the drunken malcontent of an ex.
Has a heated confrontation with Dante. The white mess is afoot. Later, Sean is murdered Jet Li Kiss of Dragon style in his hotel room by an unknown assailant while taking a naked ass shower.
Naked by the end of this.
Stephanie attends Emily's bachelorette party where she turns out to be the only guest and the two reconnect. When Stephanie returns to the hotel, she discovers Sean's death, which the local police write off as an accident. Suspecting Emily's involvement, Stephanie follows her the next day but is distracted by a woman who reveals herself as Irene Walker, an FBI agent investigating Aunt Linda, and shows Stephanie a photo of Linda talking to a mystery woman that Stephanie identifies as Emily from her tattoo, the very bane of Emily's criminal existence, a highly identifiable marker. Emily and Dante are married. At the reception, Dante tears up the prenup between him and Emily, declaring it as a gesture of peace between the Versanos and the Bertolos. Wow, that's interesting names. Later that evening, Stephanie follows Dante as he leaves the reception only to witness him being shot. Portia accuses Emily of murdering him for his money. With Emily's presence accounted for and Stephanie the only witness to the murder, can Stephanie solve the murder mysteries before she's either pinned for the crimes by the Polizia or murdered by the Italian mob? Another Simple Favor, to be honest, I'm actually surprised this movie ever got made, especially in terms of things that are going on, but there are 3 lessons you can learn from this movie that I felt pretty meh about. Change of scenery. So I will say, if I'm trying to be nice, one of the things that this movie does well is that it does change the location. The first movie was set in a much more upper class kind of suburban neighborhood. It's much more of like a little tight-knit community. You know, I grew up in a suburb, so this area felt pretty similar to an area that I'm from. But in this movie, they go to Italy and they change the scenery, and it does help when you go to a different locale. Look, humans, we are shallow. We love eye candy. We love eye-popping visuals. Now, does this movie necessarily take advantage of the fact that they're in Italy? I don't know if they take full advantage because I'm not sure how much of it was actually shot in Italy, because there's moments that feels like they're on a very close set or they just went to like one Italian location. But it does help because it does help to sort of change the way the characters react to the setting that they're in. They're not home. They're not in a place that is familiar to them, and there is a sort of opulence and epicness to Italy. So I will give them that, but that change of scenery won't mean much if there isn't interesting characters to hold our attention, which leads us to the next lesson. It takes 2 to tango. Now, there are not a whole lot of things I like about this film, but I will say that I cannot deny that this film is at its best when Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively are together. There's just something about when they're both together that they just really bounce off each other really well, and this like very kind of adversarial, snarky, bickering couple kind of thing that they have going on.
Why isn't your book selling?
It's selling. It's not.
Do you know what I'd do to Sean if I wasn't so close to being free?
Drown him in a lake.
Remember Emily? Hi, Stephanie fans. Do your fans have a label? Ooh, the Smotherettes, the Smother Me to Deaths.
It's just unfortunate that I'm not sure if it's because of behind the scenes drama between these two actresses, but they are not on screen enough. But when they are together, it works well. And if I hope the movie recognizes that it's one of its few strengths, and if they for some reason decide to make another one of these, I don't care if these two actresses don't like each other much, put them together as much as possible, because that's one of the only time that I found this movie somewhat enjoyable. But there's an elephant in the room, but we're gonna address that in the next lesson. Take a heel turn. So with this film going into it, there is a big elephant in the room, in particular with Blake Lively. So just really quickly, I don't want to get too caught up in it, but for the last year, Blake Lively has been embroiled in a battle with Justin Baldoni over the film It Ends With Us. I think they're supposed to be going to trial. It's been a lot of he said, she said kind of going on, and we won't really know what's going down until this trial happens. And to be honest, I've kind of checked out until that trial happens, because at a certain point, I can't just be getting updates about every little minute minute detail in a trial or whatever. But with that happening, Blake Lively's career has been under examination. And I personally, when it comes to Blake Lively, she was really popular when I was younger, especially during the Gossip Girl era. But to be honest, I've never quite understood why people were so like enchanted with her. I think she's fine. I think the performance that I've seen from her that has been the most impressive was The Town. And
What are you doing down here? Slumming? You tell me what you want me to do. I'll be whoever you want me to be.
I'm leaving with somebody else.
otherwise, I've not really seen her in anything else that I felt particularly compelled by her, which, you know, kind of undermines some of her merit in terms of like why she is so famous. But I will say with this film, I think if Blake Lively is going to continue acting, if her whole career does not get tanked by this controversy, that I think whether she likes it or not, she may need to just only play villains or like morally gray characters. In this role, this is one of the few roles I've seen her in where I think it actually plays to her strengths. I like her as a villain. I like her as someone who is tricky and kind of hard to pin down and kind of elitist and kind of full of themselves. She plays that best. So I would say for Blake, if somehow your acting career is not ruined by this whole, you know, it ends with us trial, stick to playing villains. You do really well at that, because there's another way she acts in this film and I found it to be so elementary and kind of boring that,
And I knew it wasn't true.
yeah, just stick to playing snarky, stick to playing villain. I know you may not want to do it, but take a page out of wrestling and take a heel turn. So hey, have you seen Another Simple Favor? You know, maybe y'all liked it more than I did. Leave a comment down below. But if any of you are saying this is like really good, just come on, do not be delusional. Until next time, mahalo.